Doan, Sugawara, Gawa, or Sano. All the players are doing a great job in Europe. I was scouting a lot. I see many games, and you always have once or twice or maybe 3 times a year, then you can jump on the table and that you believe in a player.
どうやって塩貝選手をヨーロッパに来るように説得したんでしょうか？
I got the information that the player was open to make the step to Europe. Yeah, I got that information, and from that moment on, we knew the player, so that was we were convinced about the player. Yeah, that are facts. That's not talking a lot, but that are really facts I put on the table. What my behavior is, and I think that's the most important part in life.
今日は、NEC ナイメヘンのテクニカルダイレクターを務めるカルロス・アーベルスさんにお越しいただきました。カルロスさんは堂安選手、菅原選手、小川幸輝選手、佐野光大選手、塩貝選手など非常に多くの日本人選手を獲得してきて、全てその選手がヨーロッパで成功しているという非常に日本のエキスパートでして、今日はどうやって日本人を探しているか、でどういうふうに日本サッカーを評価しているかを聞きたいと思います。日本代表で堂安選手は今中心選手なんですけども、まだ19歳の時はヨーロッパで無名だったと思います。どうやって堂安選手を見つけたんでしょうか？
Yeah, for me, as then at that period, I worked for FC Groningen, and always you try to find a good players for good financial conditions, because that's also part of a job, because also everybody can see Messi, but if he's not in the financial schedule, then it will be difficult. So you always look at spots into the world market, who's getting bigger and bigger, and with all the new technology, with the new data, everybody knows immediate into a few months who are the good players. And in that period, for me was an interesting part was the AFC qualification for the World Cup in South Korea. So I was 6-7 months before the most of the scouts were coming, and then I already recognized the quality of Doan, and the only thing for me was important how he would be 6-7 months later in his physical part, because that's what he had to improve. But the advantage was I saw already his qualities, and that I already spoke with his agency that we really had an interest in him. So we were a step before our competitors. And at that tournament in South Korea, I already was there, already was in contact with the agent, and I saw the first game, and then for me, the second game against Uruguay was for me the decision maker. Because Uruguay is a tough team. It are fighters. It's a fighting spirit. It's a team. You have to play in a good intensity. And Doan, really played also in this game a good game. Although he didn't score, but for me it was definitely the go. And then I contacted his agency that we wanted to sign him for FC Groningen. And the thing was that in the game after this against Italy, he scored 2 or 3 goals. And then all the scouts of Europe were contacting the agency, but then they were luckily for us just too late.
その2つ今面白い点があったと思うんですけど、まず U20 ワールドカップの予選で見たときと U20 ワールドカップで見たときのその成長度合いをチェックされてましたけど、そうやって若い選手が短期間にどう変わっていくかっていうところが非常に重要になってくるんですか？まずはこの1つ目にお聞かせください。
Yeah, the growth was really an important factor because, one of the criteria is, the Japanese players, they are excellent in the handling speed, in their technique. They are really excellent players. But nowadays, football, it's more sprints, it's more meters per minute. So intensity, it's a key in football. And if you cannot deliver this, then it's almost impossible to go into the top of Europe. And in this, and then specific on this age, players develop, of course, by playing minutes, by starting strength training, in 6-7 months, Doan really made big steps in this part. So that was for me really important, because it's one of the points you make a decision on if you sign a player, yes or no. Can he play in a higher intensity? Because if he has this, then also he can make the next step. And that was always, for players who come to the Eredivisie, it's always important also, can they make the next step?
じゃあ逆に言えば、すごく上手くても、そのインテンシティに耐えられない、フィジカルがないっていう理由で獲得しなかった選手もたくさんいるんですか？
Yes, also because there are also players, who are because also in the Eredivisie, we are also a country who, let's say, want to build up. So it's a little. You can compare it a little bit with the Japanese football. So we like to build up also, and that's Japanese players are really good in this, and I saw many players who can do this. But the physical part was not enough. So then, we will not sign the player.
で、二つ目の面白い点は、U20 ワールドカップの2試合目の後に代理人にコンタクトをしたと。で、大会中にもコンタクトして、それが決め手になったということですけど、やはり、スカウトにとってスピードっていうのはものすごく大事ですか？
Speed and timing is, really important in the market. Because what I just mentioned nowadays, with the new technology, with data, with video programs, everybody knows in 2-3 months exactly the players and in the whole world market. So it's really important to be quick, to be different. And then also it's timing, and maybe the best example in this is Kento Shiogai, because also we saw him already in 23 against a national team game. We saw him in Toulon, and we were convinced again that we wanted to sign Kento, but Kento at this moment was not sure if he wanted to make the step into Europe. Or he wanted maybe to stay in Japan to study and make the combination to play football there, or make the step to Europe. And this summer, maybe in a period of 6 weeks after he was in Europe, he changed his mind. And and then also you have what you build up in the past as a network is then really important, because the network knows what we are doing and what we can expect from each other. So that's then also a really important part. Your network, how reliable are you as a person or as a club? That's an important part. And at this moment, when Kento changed his mind and we know the player, then immediate we could send the next day an offer to the player. And that's timing, because if we didn't have the knowledge, if we didn't have the experience and the network, he would never play for NEC Nijmegen, because many clubs from Europe were interested in him, and then he would have made another choice.
塩貝選手についてはまた改めて聞きたいんですけれども、一つ面白いなと思ったのは、フローニンゲンの時に、ヘッドスカウトだったと思うんですけども、現地でヘッドスカウトが誰にオファーするかっていう権限があったんでしょうか？
It was always from the management. Try to find the new a big talent, and if you see that big talent, then jump on the table. Always the CEO told me, and I was scouting a lot. I see many games, and you always have once or twice or maybe 3 times a year. Then you can jump on the table, and that you believe in a player. And then, also you must, let's say, be brave, and that you go for it, and that you really jump on the table. And that's also, a big difference with many scouts. They talk a lot, but don't jump on the table. And that's also timing, and it's also that you must be convinced in a player. And and then I jumped on the table, and then the management, trusted me, and then also they go for it.
その日本のクラブだと通常やはり上に確認を取って上が OK を出さないと多分そういうふうにアプローチできないと思うんですけど、そこはやはりオランダのクラブの 利点でしょうか？そこは何か、それとも、カルロスさんのそういうふうに上とうまくネゴシエーションして、そういうふうな権利を勝ち取ってるんでしょうか？
Yeah, the clubs I worked for, it was Groningen, it was later AZ Alkmaar. Then also there I worked as a head scout, and yeah, I think it's working together. It's to have trust in each other, because also in AZ it was with Sugawara. I was at the World Cup in Poland, and I saw him, and then then I thought, what a good player. Let's see the next game. I watched many videos. I was immediately in contact with his agency, and then I saw the second game. And after the second game, I called my sport director. I said, "You must come now to Poland, because it's Sugawara, this player." And he came, and immediate after the tournament, we signed Sugawara. So it's also confidence in each other, and that's and working together. That's really important, and also for me that's really important as a scout, because you are the experienced person, and that you must jump on the table. What I said, that you really have to that you have to brave to make a decision. That's really really important to convince also the management.
そのジャンプオンザテーブルって表現がすごい面白いなと思ったんですけども、それでもしその選手が良くなかった場合に責任は追及されるんでしょうか？
Yeah, that's always you have the responsibility, and finally when I worked in Groningen or in AZ Alkmaar, it was always, let's say, the sport director has the biggest responsibility, because finally he must push on the button. Are we go for this transfer, yes or no? So then it's in the role as a head scout, it's really important that you have a good relation and working, and that you believe in each other with the sport director. So that must be really close. So that's also, I believe, always in smaller teams, in people who work harder and together, than in bigger teams and in many scouts. So that's what I believe in, and that's also now I'm the sport director in NEC Nijmegen, and together with my colleague, we are every week in the scouting meeting. Every week I hear the interesting players. Also, still, I watch a lot of games myself live, because nowadays it's many clubs work on data and on video, but I believe live is the most important, because then also you get the feeling, how is a player doing a warming up, how is communication with the players. These are all kind of things you cannot see in data, or you cannot see on video. So it's it's always be in the market, be close on the market, because for me, but that's maybe for another sport director is different. But my vision is that scouting is one of the most important things in football.
で、塩貝選手はまさにその例だと思うんですけども、通論に、シーズン後なんで、普通だったらバカンスに行っててもいいと思うんですが、そんな責任者自ら、通論に行って塩貝選手を見て、彼が活躍したから獲得するってすぐ動いたということですけども、なぜそこまでフットワーク軽く、もうバカンスにも行かず通論に行ったんでしょうか？
No, it's what I said. For me, scouting is really important. I'm also still involved a lot then in scouting, because you can say, for me it's important, but also your behavior must then be priority to do this. And then also, because it's true, it was immediate few days after our last game in the playoffs. And then maybe many players many sport directors will say, no, I go for 1 or 2 weeks, take some rest, and then go into the transfer market. But immediate in that weekend, because for me on the Toulon tournament, there are many players who are also in between, and then I talk more about countries like Italy or France, the bigger countries. There are many players who are a little bit in between, and for me that's very interesting. And of course also the Japanese team was there, and some other countries, because Japan is a priority for us in the market. So also, as the Japanese national teams were in Spain a few weeks ago, then our scouts are also there And then I went to Toulon, and in this game against Italy, I thought I saw Kento, and then again it's really happened. It's already during the game, after 60, 70 minutes. I was on my phone and sent WhatsApp messages to my network in Japan. Who is this player? Can we sign him? What is his status?
Wow.
And then I'm so convinced about everything, because that's also what you can see live, because after 5 minutes I already made my first note. Oh, he was irritating the defenders. So he's a winner. That's already what I saw after 5 minutes, and that's what I like. And that are all small things that you come to the decision to sign a player.
で、塩貝選手は慶応大学に通っていて、普通であればマリノスの強化指定で、卒業してから、J リーグでプレーしてヨーロッパ行くと思ってたんですけども、どうやって塩貝選手をヨーロッパに来るように説得したんでしょうか？
I think the first important point is that I think Kento changed his mind, because what I just said, I was at Toulon. I immediately informed by my network, and then I got the feedback that Kento wanted to study and to play for Marinos at that period. So now we are talking about beginning of June, and then 6-7 weeks later, I got the information that the player was open to make the step to Europe, so that he has another path for his career than he had 6 weeks before. And I got that information, and from that moment on, we knew the player. So that was we were convinced about the player, because I got the phone call from the agency. And that's always important in my opinion, and I think in the whole process, that I'm not a guy who talks a lot, but I'm more who has proven, who has done proven things. So at that moment, if you get a phone call from an agent, do you want to make an offer for this player? And the next day, the offer is on the table, and it's not really cheap for us, because it's you have the regulations in Holland to get a working permit. Player must get a specific salary, otherwise he cannot get a working permit. So it's also really an investment for a club like NEC Nijmegen. So, and if we do this investment, and we just also talk about responsibility, it's also my responsibility now as sport director to take this responsibility, because it's also we have to pay, in this case it was training, education, or transfer fee, and we have to pay the salary. So it's you must be convinced about it, and that is what we did. And in the process after this, it was also I could only tell and give the confidence to the player, and also to the parents of Kento, that what I did with Doan or with Sugawara, or with and that at this moment, like players like Ogawa and Sano are here at the club, who can help the player also. That are facts. That's not talking a lot, but that are really facts I put on the table. What my behavior is, and I think that's the most important part in life.
そのマネージメント層を説得するときに、塩貝選手はあくまで慶応大学の選手で、ヨーロッパだったらそんな大学生を取るなんて信じられないと、そんなお金をかけて取るなんて信じられないって言われると思うんですけども、どうやってそれは逆にマネージメント層を説得したんでしょうか？
No, I convinced the board, because it's again you have proven what you did in the past. So with Doan, Sugawara, Ogawa, or Sano, all the players are doing a great job in Europe, and that now you can find you can sign a striker from 19 years old. Then they have to have the trust in me. So if I say this is a good potential player, then they have the confidence in me, and it's also what I said, it's my responsibility. And that's always in life or in companies. Also you must trust each other on the experience and on the decisions they make. Otherwise, they can put here somebody else on this position, and and if nobody has the guts or the braveness to make decisions, then also you mustn't be on this position.
で、面白いことに、堂安選手も、菅原選手も、佐野皓大選手も、塩貝選手も、19歳、20歳ぐらいできてます。まあ、19歳できていますと。その19歳で来ることの意味っていうのは何かありますか？すごい、日本だとまだ19歳って若くて、なかなかこの選手に目をつけないんですけども、何か19歳っていうのは理由がありますか？
Yeah, the reason is that we have to look at potential players. So that's I also saw the interview with the CEO of Brighton, and with their fantastic data system. But the data system starts working after a player has played a minimum of 1,000 minutes, for example. So if and we cannot compete with a club like Brighton. So if those players play in the G1 league, they played let's say many minutes, then we are too late in the market. So we have to look at potential players. So a little bit earlier, let's say in the chain, we have to find the players, and also that's because Doan, I think he played 500 minutes for Gamba. Sugawara also he played also around 500 minutes, maybe in the first team. So Sano was in the second league, and also Shiugai, we know, in the university team. So we have to be a step further. So that's more the market, how we have to handle, because if they play already 10, 15 games in G1 league and they do a good job, then all the bigger clubs will come and we cannot compete with them. And the other reason is that in the Netherlands, you have the non-EU regulation. And that means that if the player is still 19 years, they can come to a lower category of the salary scale. And and that's 50% of when the players are older than 20 years old. And that's for us also a big reason.
でその堂安選手も菅原選手も、まあ、小川選手、佐野選手、で、塩貝選手も先日ゴールを決めました。で、みんなそうやってステップアップできるのは、何か特別なサポートをしているんですか？
Yes, we do a lot of things in that, and that's also, I think, an advantage if Japanese players come to Eredivisie, and because still we are a little bit, let's say, smaller clubs. We are not big multinational clubs. So also, we take care about the players, and of course, we help them to feel comfortable in the first period. And that's with all the normal things outside the football that we help them. Also, every week they have English lesson. And for example, Kento Shiugai, last week I gave extra English lesson. Also, this man goes sometimes with Kento to a supermarket, to a restaurant, and then during this time, he speaks English. And if they speak English, it's also they can communicate better. It gives them also a better feeling, and all these kind of things together. And of course, sometimes scoring a goal, that's one of the most important keys for a football player. That's confidence, and all these small parts helps them to give them the confidence. And for Kento, it's a big example that already Sano and Ogawa are here who can help him also. So it's not only the football part, but also beside outside the football. I always ask, how are you doing? Do you feel comfortable? If you have a question, let me know. I will contact the agency and ask, is something going on? Yes or no? Can we do something? It's really important that the player feels at home.
ヨーロッパのクラブによっては監督に若い選手を使うと、ボーナスを払うという契約をしているクラブもあると聞きました。で、カルロさんはその監督に若手を使うように何か促したり、そういう特別な契約を用意したりもするんでしょうか？
No, it's not that we give bonuses, but our vision in the club is that we want to play on position number 7 and 8 in the Eredivisie, and the other point is we want to create value, and that's my task in this club. And also we have a program in this inside NEC Nijmegen, and that's the name of the program. Football is a profession, so that's football is a job also. And now in this case, that I can translate it a little bit to the coaching staff and also the coach have to develop the players, because I believe in 10 times 1% makes it better, and the 1% is video analyze, that is nutrition, that is the mental coaching, that is the strength training. So all those parts together will improve the player. And it's a vision of the club, and it's also if in the next, for example, you, in my opinion, as sport director, you must have the vision of the club, because in the Netherlands, it's at the moment that the average period that the coach is at the club, it's I think 18 months, then they get sacked. So and if you get coach X, I or Epsilon, and everybody has his own vision. So as a club, we must have a vision, and we have a program how we believe to develop a player, and that's the focus for a coach. Is also it's a task for the coach and the coaching staff that they have to deliver 10 times 1%, because then we create value for the club.
で、日本だと、やはり目先の勝利の方が大事で、なかなか若手を使わない監督がいると思うんですけども、それは、あまりリーグにとって良くないカルチャーだと思いますか？
Yeah, it's a different culture, but this is the vision of our club, that we have to find the balance in between, let's say, winning games and also developing players. So that's really the balance. And also, if you look at our squad at this moment and what we did in the last transfer window, in our squad now we have at the moment 10 players in the age of 18 till 23 years old. So we spent in average on transfer fees 550,000 euros on a player, and the average age of the players we paid a transfer fee for was 21, 22 years old. So that's again, I spoke earlier in this interview about you can talk a lot, or what is your behavior? So if you look at our window in the last windows and how we build the squad now, is that we signed those players to translate potential players into excellent players, so that we can make a good transfer fee and that we can make a good step. But also you see, because also that we have to win games, that we have signed players this summer also in the age of 27, 28 years old, and they have to make the balance to the younger players. And so that's how we try to build up from the vision we have as a club.
そのスカウティング、リクルートメントも聞きたいんですけども、いい選手、グッドとエクセレントのその違いっていうのはどうやって見分けるんでしょうか？
In my opinion, it's the eyes. The eyes makes the difference, because of course, we have the process. You need a process, because if I look back to last season, I make an analysis of it. We have thousands of reports from players, because every week we watch on video and on live, let's say 20, 30 players. And so in a month, it's 100 players. So let's say 1,000 in a year, and we signed 10 players. So that's only 1%. Of the players we went through. In this case, you must have a process. So also we have the process of data, video, live, background. But it's going a little bit crisscross together. But also, for example, this summer, a player came good out of data. We know we watched many games on video, and it was a defender. And then I went with my colleague to the game, and then we saw the warming up. Then I saw less communication, a little bit outside of the team. In the defending is one part of defending is also communication. Yeah, it's really so it's and data tells you about how many duels you win on the ground and through the air, but positional wise or communication that you can prevent that the opponent can be dangerous. Yeah, that's so important, and you cannot see on data. So from my point of view, the first thing I just mentioned is behavior. The other point is a tactical thing you cannot see on data or video. Is that finally live makes the big difference, and then also what kind of person is a player? Does he has an ambition? Does he have goals? How can he adapt? That's it's also really key, because we are all human beings, and it's not compared to a factory. When you because I just said about potential player to an excellent player, you can compare it with a company where you make let's say the half of a car, and you have to bring it to a car, and in between can happen a lot, and then you have maybe to make something, to repair something, you can do that immediate. But with a player, it's totally different process, because how can you influence? How can he adapt? That are all human beings, and that's a big difference with let's say a factory or the economy.
そのウォーミングアップすらもチェックして判断しているということですけども、そういうキャラクターとかパーソナリティをチェックする上で他にしていることはありますか
？To know more about the player is the things I just mentioned, and then also I go through his background. So that's why you need a good network, because then you can contact people, how he was in the youth, who was his coach in the past. So these kind of things, it's what you check, and for this you need a good network. And nowadays with the technology, it's you can check social media. For example, if we checked Koki Ogawa. So for Koki, we went to Japan, we saw the game, we met Koki, but also we watched on social media. And if you watch on social media for Koki, then you see, this is a type who's a little bit more extrovert than an introvert, because how he shows himself on social media, you get an idea about the person. So that's also that's an advantage of technology again.
で、その1000人の中から10人に絞っていくような大変な作業ですけど、今 NEC ではスカウトの方は何人いるんですか？トランスファーマルクトを見ると3人というふうに見たんですけど。
No, we have more than 3 scouts. We have 4 scouts, and near that we have 5 scouts who do video scouting. So they do every week a lot. So altogether we have, because I'm involved myself a lot with my colleague. For my job, maybe 30% is also scouting, and that's the same for my colleague also. And because what I just mentioned, we are every day, every week, we are involved in the scouting. But let's say altogether, if I bring it back to full time, then we have 6, 7 full-time scouts.
日本人のスカウトの方はいるんですか？日本だけを見るスカウトの方っていうのはいるんですか？
No, we don't have a Japanese scout, but we follow the Japanese market with the total scouting team, and that's then G1, G2 league, the national teams, that we are following. Let's say every week, during the whole season. Yeah.
で、日本では最近シントトロイデンというクラブ、これは日本の会社がオーナーなんですけども、シントトロイデンもたくさんの日本人選手を取っています。で、そういうシントトロイデンっていうのはカルロスさんにとってライバルになるでしょうか？
No, it's of course it's a competitor, because I think Sint-Truiden is a little bit in the same level, or let's say on budget wise. like NEC Nijmegen, and they have the advantage in Belgium. We have the strict EU rules in the Netherlands, and Belgium they don't have, so it's more easy for Belgian clubs to sign Japanese players. And for sure, it's a competitor, but there are many competitors in the market. But that's in every market. So it's you have to try to find the gaps and work harder and quicker than your competitors. That's a challenge.
で、あと、日本ではミスリンタートという方が有名で、新次香川選手、遠藤航選手、最近だと伊藤洋輝選手やチェイス・アンリ選手を取って、で、ミスリンタートさんはアヤックスにも行き、今ドルトムントにいますけども、カルロスさんから見てミスリンタートさんをどう見ていますか？ライバルになりますか？
Yeah, again, like Sint-Truiden is a competitor. Also, Dortmund is a competitor, or Stuttgart is a competitor. And so there are many competitors, in this market. And so yes, he's a competitor because he also finds the Japanese market really interesting. And but I know his network. I know his network because I know how the players went through Stuttgart. Because one of the players in Stuttgart, it was a central defender. He was also on trial at AZ Alkmaar. I don't know the name at the moment, but he's already now for 2-3 years, I think, in Stuttgart, and he now jumps to the first team. So I know the network again. So it's also a little bit a small world, because if you have the network, you know it, then you know how it works. But for sure, Sven is a competitor, yes, and I try to beat him.
そうですね。チェイス・アンリー選手のことですね。で、今、日本代表を見ると、堂安選手、菅原選手、小川選手が日本代表に入っていて、カルロスさんがヨーロッパに連れてきた選手が日本代表でも活躍してますけども、それは個人として嬉しいことですか？
Yes, yeah, it really makes me happy because, of course, I have my task, but I really like it if I get messages from players that they, like with Doan or with lately with Sugawara. Now he made a step to Southampton. Then Yukinari sends me a message. They really appreciate and they are always thankful that I gave them the possibility to make the step to Europe. I said, okay, of course. For me, it means a lot. So it's that I can help. That I want to make the decision. That I believed in those players. That also makes me really happy because all the players I speak, they want to play for Sumarai, and if I can help them with their dream, it also makes me happy, and that's so near of course the business side of the football, it's the personal side, and that gives me really a good feeling.
で、日本からはまだまだファンバステンとか、そういうフーリットとか、世界的なストライカーが出てきてないんですけども、日本のサッカーの人はストライカーが弱点だと思ってはいるんですけど、どうしたらいいストライカーが出てくると思いますか？
That's that's a really difficult question because also in the Netherlands, it's not that we have every year a type like Van Basten. So that's also it's in during the period. You have a few good strikers. So I really don't have really an idea that how you can build those kind of strikers, because I already think that the Japanese players are developed really well, and Van Basten also, that you cannot say that he was really a strong player, but he was really also a clever player. Difficult question. I know I cannot really give an answer on this. If I could, then I would fly to Japan tomorrow and I would help to tell this, but I really don't know.
塩貝選手や小川選手がね、その一人になったら、日本サッカーにとっても嬉しいので、今後の塩貝選手の活躍、小川選手の活躍も楽しみにしてます。
Yeah, that's also what we hope, because for Ogawa really was he came on a later age, and for him it was to play in Europe that he could make the step to the Japanese national team. So this step we helped each other. So he helps us because he scores every year 10-15 goals for NEC Nijmegen. And he developed himself, and now he's in every period he's in the national team. So then you help each other. It's a win-win situation. And with Kento, for sure, after his adaptation, he will also be in the national team, I think, in a few years, because he has all the qualities. Of course, he has to learn still a lot of things, but he's strong. He has speed. He wants to score a goal. He has a good mentality, so he wants to work hard. So all good parts that he can be a good player also for the Japanese national team.
ちなみに塩貝選手のベストなポジションはどこだと見ていますか？
As a striker, because he's so hungry to score a goal. It's unbelievable. Every ball he gets in his feet, he wants to shoot on the goal. So that's a little bit of variation what he has to learn. But as a striker, maybe I can imagine. Also yesterday in our game, the last part they played together. On the striker position, Kento more higher than Koki Ogawa. Also, that was what I saw, a good combination. So maybe in a combination of two strikers also that he can play. But the advantage is also that he's strong, he has deep runs, speed. I think his best quality is he wants to score every little chance he gets. So that's typically really good thing for a striker. And but he has to bring more variation into his game. But that's what we will learn him. So hopefully we can bring him also to the national team. That also would make us proud again.
今日は長い時間ありがとうございました。特に今日はやっぱりテーブルの上にジャンプするっていう表現が面白くて、そのスカウトがいかに時間の中で戦っていて早くアプローチするかが大事だってことが分かりました。今日は貴重なインタビューをありがとうございました。
It was a pleasure for me to do it because I like the Japanese market, but that's also about the Japanese people. Because I just mentioned it also a few times during this interview. I like the correct behavior. Do what you say, and that's also what I see in the Japanese culture and people. So it's I appreciate it. Thank you very much also.
でまたじゃあ次の新しい日本人選手を獲得して日本サッカーを驚かせるのをお待ちしております。今日はありがとうございました。
We looked already at it, but now we have 3 in NEC Nijmegen, but 3 is really the maximum in my opinion. So hopefully 1 or 2 can make the next step, and then we are already looking for the next one in Japan. So let's continue with the factory.
ありがとうございました。